Alright. Which one of you spiked my drink? People have been having nightmares recently. More than you might say usual. Of course, this kind of thing doesn't help.
And in other news, we have more on the recent string of unexplained deaths that seem to be exclusively involving young men. Cause of death is unknown, and while police are investigating...
Little wonder they're having nightmares. One who's having a particularly tough time of late is Vincent. It is mostly his own bloody fault though. Vincent's been dating his long-term girlfriend Catherine for 5 years now. She wants to take the next step, so to speak. He wants things to stay the same, nice and comfortable. Then Catherine shows up. Yeah, both of them are called Catherine. This might get a bit confusing. You see, Catherine wants to settle down, get married, maybe start a family. Whereas Catherine is more about having fun, doing things as she pleases, whenever she feels like it.
And all your late-night drinking isn't cheap, you know. So I'll be handling all our bank accounts.
You're still serving it. I'll have the summer squash pasta.
Well, that voice.
Hey, listen to me!
I'm listening. My stomach hurts really bad. So I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
Vincent, you've been acting weird today.
No, I'm fine. I'm fine, really.
No, I don't mind being in the smoking section.
Hey, is this the smoking section?
Huh? Well, yeah.
Basically, Vincent ends up cheating on Catherine with Catherine. And because he's so comfortable with leaving things the way they are, he completely fails to tell either of them about the other. Which just causes him to come across as an unlikable, selfish, dithering prat. And as if things can get more confusing, Rin shows up.
Hey. You sure you're okay?
Well, what do you mean?
You look like something's wrong.
Yeah, I know. I guess lately a lot's been happening. Maybe I'm stressed.
Vincent.
Okay.
In addition to the game since the original was made, the character of Rin does ever so slightly feel a teeny bit out of place. Still, the writers did a good job of altering the script here and there to allow additional conversations with barely a feather ruffled. It's not as if Rin's crudely bolted on. Over the course of just over a week, Vincent will go through figurative hell in his every waking hour. And through literal hell in his sleeping ones. The worst that can happen in the daytime is you piss off every girl you know. The worst that can happen here is you drop dead. Literally.
By using a Bible, you can eliminate those who stand in your way. That way, no one can block your path.
I made it.
Here there's only one thing to do, climb, because eventually the ground will collapse under your feet.
Alright, I got it. Alright, I got it. Alright, I got it.
Rumour has it there are 8 stages to the tower. At first, the basic white, broken and the immovable blocks are the only ones you'll have to deal with. Pulling a block off a ledge when you have no space to stand causes you to hang from the one below. It's a beginner's trap. You've always got to consider where you're standing after you've moved the block. But you can always undo if you do something you didn't mean to.
Alright, I got it. Whoa!
Undo.
Alright, I got it.
Undo.
And so it goes on, night after night, with Vincent being drawn deeper and deeper into this hole he's gotten himself into. There are some other things you can do during daylight hours. You can talk to the other patrons of the bar.
Which do you think are more pitiful, men or women?
This one?
A lot of people say that. When asked whether they'd like to return as a man or woman in the next life, the majority of people say they'd prefer to be a woman. Some scientists have even predicted that men will become extinct. It's the truth.
Extinct?
Apparently the Y chromosome is quite useless compared to the X chromosome, so it's possible.
Change the music up.
Men are only acknowledged by their upward mobility. Don't be a tumbleweed. Be like ivy, always climbing.
Another good game by Atlas. Easy recommend. You can try the Rapunzel video game in the corner if you need the practice. Well, I say practice. Some of these levels are quite tricky. From time to time you'll get text messages. It's up to you if you respond at all, and how you respond.
You got a mail.
Nah.
Should I be pleased or worried I'm getting stalked by someone like this? You'll get interesting facts about the drinks when you empty your glass. Also, drinking makes you quicker in the nightmare.
I know this is sudden, but here is some trivia for you, as you seem to have finished your glass. Rum is made from the sugar cane grown in the Caribbean. Other popular cocktails that feature rum include the Mai Tai, the Mojito, and the Pina Colada. How about pairing a nice cocktail with a juicy steak? That was the cocktail trivia for tonight.
Speaking of which,
Do I look like a sheep? You're the sheep. Everybody here's a sheep but me.
well, I'm not a sheep either, mate. You're the sheep. They all think I'm mad. I think you know I'm not. If we're not mad now, we will be after a few nights of this. Make sure to talk to the other sheep on the landings. Some of them will share techniques, making climbing the tower walls much easier.
Whatever. I'll let you in on a technique I figured out.
Yeah, let's do it.
Allow me to explain the spider. If there is a block in your way, try dangling off the edge and moving around it. It's a useful way to go around a block to find another place to stand.
Oh, what about this then?
Allow me to explain the flying bridge. Using principles of the bridge, gaps 2 blocks wide are no problem. Push the same block twice to push it to the other side. Then, add another block next to it to complete the bridge.
Wow, I knew it. You're not just a regular guy.
And every so often you'll have to answer a question before being allowed to continue. And the questions alter your way of thinking, and therefore what endings are available to you.
This is the 7th question for a new possibility. Would you be able to accept any secret your lover may have?
That's your answer? I see.
New block types get added in as you advance up the tower. Heavy blocks that are slower to move, trap blocks that impale you if you stay on them, monster blocks with a will of their own.
Edge, edge. Edge, undo. Edge,
Like this?
edge,
Find a way forward. Then switch to undo and try a new start.
edge, edge. Edge, undo. Edge, edge, edge. Edge.
Alright, I got it.
My only real criticism of the game is it doesn't seem to matter how many times you play, how many different ways you play, 95% of it will play exactly the same. Even if you doggedly pursue Catherine and push the gauge far into the red zone, Vincent still talks about breaking up with Catherine and marrying Catherine. Now, to be fair, the way the story is told, it actually does work very well. I'm being vague on purpose because spoilers. It's just a little weird the way it ignores your choices until the 11th hour, and there are a lot of endings depending on what choices you make. The game also has 2-player online where you can test your mettle against another player. One small problem with that, I couldn't find a single player to play against. There is literally nobody playing this online. The only way you could play against someone else is if you had a second controller and you managed to persuade a friend to have a go with you. And then you've got to explain what all the different block types do. And then you've got to explain what all the various techniques are as well. Good fucking luck. Oh, and after Atlas said the game wouldn't be censored, they did tweak part of one of the game's endings. The Western version has been adjusted, apparently, though because I never saw the original scene, nor have I watched the scene in this version, I'm probably not the best person to ask. Regardless, I was far more worried about Sony censoring the sexy content, something they've been doing a lot of over the past few years. As far as I'm aware, they haven't censored a thing. Catherine is a block-based puzzle game punctuated by the angst of a dithering twit who, let's be honest, is 80% responsible for being caught between three characters vying for his attention. Vincent's not actually unlikable, not really. He's just an idiot for not coming clean as soon as he made the mistake. The final score for Catherine Full Body is an 8 out of 10. I still think this game is as good as it used to be. It's got a few additions here. They don't really transform the game hugely. But it's definitely worth another playthrough if you remember it, and if you missed it the first time round, it's certainly worth a look. Can definitely recommend it. Atlus is good at these kind of games. Okay, that'll do. What did you think of my review? Leave a like or dislike down below. What did you think of the game, and how does it compare to the original? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Or whatever? Leave a comment down below. And if you can't get enough of my dulcet tones, you can hit the subscribe button, or if you want to inflict me on someone else, you can share instead. See you next time. Actually, I'm going to have an actual drink, because this glass is empty. I'm going to have an actual drink before I start. Oh, I forgot my phone. I left my phone in the other room. I haven't got it with me. Oh, crap. Basically, Vincent ends up cheating on... cheating. It feels like my two front teeth are getting in the way of my tongue there. Cheating. Why is my tongue even near my teeth? Cheating. It's my tongue, it's a bit wayward.